Hello and welcome to another episode with Biker Budgie. Nice to see you, hope you're well. Right, today we are changing the crash bars over. Let me turn around. From this Africa Twin, my brother's one. I've bought his crash bars off of him and now I'm going on my one over there. So it's going to be an remove and install video. So if you're interested in seeing how this is done, stay around and watch how we get on. Okay, let's get into this. We've already removed the bags here, look. These bags which fit on the side of the bars there, like that. We've already took those off, so now we're going to go ahead and remove the bars and we'll show you how it's done. Okay, so for this video you're going to need a reasonable socket set, just like the one we've got here. You're not going to need all these bits. This is just a big socket set we've got in the garage. It's sort of like a go-to, do everything toolbox, which we use quite a lot. So we need that. We haven't got great light in here, so we're going to use the old light just to see what we're doing. And there in this bag, I don't know if you can quite see in there, that is all the old bolts that came out of this Africa Twin to actually fit the new bars on, because the new bars came with a few nuts and bolts to actually fit it on. So we'll get the spanners out and get this off. The first thing I want to note on this video before we starting, what we was going to put the bike up on the paddock stands to make it level, but the throttle side of the motorcycle bars, these heat crash bars, have got to come off first. So what I've said to my brother is we're going to leave it on the side stand so it's leant over that way more, so that I've got more access to this side. And then when we go around to take the other side off, we'll then put it up onto the stands after then to stand it up straight, so it's easier for me to do that side. So we'll get the screwdrivers out and get started. Right, the first tool we're going to need is a wrench. I've put a couple of extension bars on here, if you see that. And then on the end there we've got a H6 hex bolt remover. And if you have a look down here, there's two located just there. So we've got to crack those loose. There we go, there's one. That's two. So I'm going to go ahead and just back them out a bit. I'm not going to take it off just yet. Quite tight in there. Do you remember if we put Loctite on them? No, I don't think we put Loctite on these, and to be honest, how tight in there that was, I don't think you're going to need to put Loctite on when you install it. But I mean, that is your preference if you want to or not. Just back these out. Right, so they are now, well, that one's not, let's do that a bit more. There we go, so let's still tight that one. There's one. Still tight in here, this one. Oh, they're quite long. Alright, I think I've got that now. There we go, there's the other one. So that is, if you have a look here where the sticker is, well, the sticker there, and then you follow that bar back, and that is just mounted just below the tank there, and it's two H6 hex head bolts that you need to remove for that bit. Right, the next thing you need to remove is the water coolant bottle cap. So if you can just see, and you get the camera in there behind there, there's a nut and bolt here. There's the nut, and the bolt is just there behind. So we need to remove this engine coolant cap so that we can get access to remove that bolt. So I'm just going to take that off. There we go, there's the cap. I'll put it up there safe. Okay, the next tools you're going to need are two 17mm spanners. You're going to need one, well, it doesn't matter whether you use that end or that end, it really doesn't matter. So you're going to put one, if you come down there, you're going to put one on the inside nut, one on the outside nut, and you're going to back that one out. I've already cracked it free, that's why it's so loose. That's probably loose enough for me to do it by hand now, actually. So we're going to back that one out. We're going to try and take this off without losing that nut in there. And there's a washer on the back there as well, so just make sure you don't lose that washer. I know you can't see this for a second, but it's so tight we can't get the camera in there, so I'm sorry about that. Right, I've got my finger on the washer. There's two washers on here. So there's one on the outside and one on the inside. And you got the nut on that side there. And then obviously all that just fits in between there. So that's that one. So we've done the top mount and the bottom mount there. And then the next one, if you give me the camera. Right, sorry about wiggling the camera around. Just going to go under here. Just bear with me. Right, the next one you need to go underneath the bike. And I remember exactly what size this was because we broke a spanner doing it. Actually, I've got a feeling. Right, I'm really sorry. The first thing you actually needed to do before taking the bolts out was to remove the belly plate. I forgot to say about that, so we're going to now go ahead and take the belly plate off because it's in the way to get the next bolt off. Alright, okay, the first thing to do when removing the belly plate, it's pretty simple. There's only 3 hex head bolts to remove. So I've changed the size of the hex head I've got on my ratchet to a H5. So the first one is just located just below the gear shifter there. If you can see where I've got that in there. You get right up in there. There's one there. We just need to back that one out. I'll just crack that free. And then there's 2 more under here. There's one here and one here, and that is all you need to do to take off the belly plate. So I'll go ahead and remove those now. Right, so I'm just backing these out here. So that's the 2 out from underneath there. And then that should just drop away. Right, stuck in there now. There we go. Right, what I like to do, hopefully you can see me through there. What I like to do is, so you don't lose any of the bolts, if you can, put the bolts back in where they came from until you're ready to reinstall the item that you took off. That way you know where all the bolts came from. Okay, if you come back around this side, I'll just take the last one off. Right, so we just need to go ahead and remove this one. This is the last one. There's only 3 holding it on. This bolt is considerably bigger than the other 2, so at least you won't get those mistaken. Just take that out. There we go. And then the belly plate, if you go right underneath, just get the light. Then if you can see, if I use this just as a pointer, there's a little grommet up here, a rubber grommet, and that pivots over. There's a little rubber thing there, and it just pivots over, so you just need to wiggle that off, like that. If you just see it up in here, there's a little metal bar. There we go, there's a little metal bar. And this piece here just sits over that metal bar. So there's 3 bolts and that little bit that sits on the metal bar, and that is it for the belly plate. Right, so once you've taken this bolt out here, you just need to go ahead and reinstall the coolant washer bottle lid. I just dropped it. It's a bit tight for finger space down here, so you've got to be, if you've got big hands, you've had it. You just need to screw that back. Oh, I can't get it. I'm trying to hold the light and do it with one hand, that's the trouble. There we go, got it. There we go, so that's back on. Right, okay, I'm underneath the bike now. We've just removed the belly plate. We've got two bolts with nuts on here, which are holding the crash bars on. So I've got a 14mm on this side and a 14mm on that side. We're going to back that one out. And then if I move across to this one, the next one along, that one as well, that needs to come out. So we're going to take those off now. When I can get it back on. Well, that was a lot easier than the first time it came off, believe me. Just going to back that off. You don't actually need to take it right out. You just need to loosen it off. So if I just take the camera, sorry about this. Just up under here, you can see if I've loosened this bolt off here, that this piece here is going to be able to be lifted off. So all we need to do is back it off enough for it to be able to lift that out. So we don't need to take this bolt right out. And this exhaust is in the way anyway, so you won't be able to remove it anyhow, I don't think. So I'll go ahead and back the other one off. Right, okay, I've loosened them off. You can see here, I've loosened these two off, so they're spinning free now, those two. So all we need to do is basically push them back this way. You can see that's just put a little gap in there and a little gap in there, and then we can lift the bars out from behind without actually removing these bolts. Okay, the next thing we need to do, if you look at the front here, the two sides of the bars, you've got the throttle side and then you've got the clutch side. So we need to remove this one last bolt just up under there. I've got a spanner on it. What I want to say about this particular one, I've actually put the H6 Allen key hex H6 on there, but I can't fit the socket in there because it's too tight. So you will need a H6 Allen key on its own, because otherwise you will not fit a ratchet in there. So we just need to loosen that one off. Right, I should be able to take that off now by hand, hopefully. There you go, just back that nut off. Right, and be careful on here. I can feel now that there's a washer on there as well. So you've got one bolt with a nylon thread lock on it. And there's a washer on the back of here as well, which I can't get. I'll try and peel it back, get it off. It's coming. Okay, so I've got the washer off. There's the washer. We're just going to take that bolt out. It might need a bit of a wiggle round because it's quite tight in there, that bolt. Just have to really, I'll probably spin it out maybe. It's pretty tight. It's coming, there we go. Okay, so you've got your Allen key bolt with a washer, which is this side, and then the other side you've got that washer, and then your nylon thread lock bolt on that side, and that is what holds those two together there. You can see there's a bit of a join here, and that's what holds that together. So hopefully now we should be able to take this throttle side bar off. That should be free now, so let's have a go. Okay, I did say that we were free and ready to take this off, but if you follow the bar right down in here, just behind the exhaust here, so this is something you're going to need to do when the engine's not hot, we've got what's that, a 13mm in here on the bottom. And then if you can just see in there, that one in there, let me point to it with a bar. That one in there, that is a 14mm. So we need to remove those two and then the bars will come off. But I did forget about those,
okay,
sorry.
So we have got these two bolts this side, but this side, because it's one long bolt that goes all the way through. So you need to have a H6 Allen key head, and we need to hold that in position while we back this nut off, otherwise it will just keep spinning and spinning.
Okay, so now we've removed those ones that are just up behind the exhaust there. That bracket that goes round in there. Just get the light and I'll show you. There we go. So you can see now, if I wiggle it, got a bit of movement now, so we should be able to remove this whole bar now. So I'll just take that out of there. Be ever so gentle. Try and put that out there somehow. There we go. Okay. So that is that side of the bar off. Okay, I'm back round by the foot brake again now, and I don't know if you remember, but if I go back under, just get under there, we have, where are they? These two bolts here, sorry, there, those ones, we backed those out, but we didn't remove them if you remember, and we slid them back, and I'll show you why. If I just grab this bit here, which the other bolt was connected to, you just pull that up, and then you can see there that you've got that little mounting bracket there, which was sat down on them two bolts inside there that I backed out. So I've just lifted that out. Okay, so this side of the bike now, all the bars are off, and in here, I don't know if you remember, just here was these Allen head bolts, the H6 ones. I've put the original ones back in that's come out of the bike, and obviously I'll be removing those ones out of my bike when I reinstall them on my bike. Just showing you that I've put those ones back in now. Alright. Right, we're around the front of the bike now, and if you look up under here, this is where the two bars, if I come out, this is where the two bars met and bolted through that hole there. See that hole there? That's where they bolted through. So we need to remove this bar now here, which goes up underneath, just up into there. Just point to those lines with your finger. That one and the other one. A 13mm socket will fit on there. And then the other side, they're actually, if you just give me the torch, where are we? Oh, it's so tight for space in here with the camera. Yeah, so we've got that one this side, and then one at the top there as well. You don't need to put a spanner on those because they're actually they're welded nuts to the bike, so you don't need to remove those. You just need to take the bolts out from that side. So we're going to go ahead now and remove those. Right, so just going to take the bottom one out. And it's got a washer on it as well, so be careful not to lose that washer. Okay, so we've removed both bolts. I don't know if you remember me saying about the bottom one there is welded to the bike, but the top one actually was a bolt. So that actually fell off and we lost it down there, but we found it now. So now we can remove that bar. We take that out. There we go, that's the bar removed. Brilliant. Right, here's the bar that come out from the centre up there. That's the bar that come out from the centre. And those two bolts is what you actually get with the kit when you buy the crash bars. They're slightly longer to allow for the width of this bar. And we've put the original bolts back up into there. Yeah, you can't, it's not focusing, there we go. We put the original ones back into there, what were originally on the bike. But those are the ones you actually get with the kit when you buy the Heed crash bars. So they are now back in. Okay, right, that is one side complete now. There's, turn it round, there's one of the bars down here. That is, if if I turn around again, the throttle side of the bike that we've removed so far. So now what we've done is I'll change the camera angle. Right, so as you can see now, we've got the bike up on the paddock stands. That's just to put the bike up right now so that we can now work on this side, because it was leaning over too far and I've had to bend down too far. So we've got the bike back on the paddock stands and we're ready to work on this side and remove this side now. I'm now at the front of the bike, and as you can see, we've got one half that's now off and gone, and the other half is still on. So we need to find out what is the remaining bolts and nuts or fixtures, fittings, whatever is remaining on this one to be able to take this crash bar off this side. So I'm going to go down here. There's 3 mounting points on this bar this side, and if you look, where's the light, Lawrence? So I'm just getting my brother to get the light. There it is, up there. Let's turn the light on, you'll be able to see. Right, so up in there, we've already removed those bolts from the other side. Well, when we took the other side off. So that's that one free. The top one in the middle there, that's already free when we remove the other side. So the only ones that's left holding this on is down the bottom here. Is that one there and that one there. And then we've got this funny contraption that actually goes through the frame hole in the bike, which is quite nice actually. It's got a heat on the side. If I go around the back side of that, just shuffle around. Sorry, I'm sat on the floor here. I'm sure it's not very nice to watch with the camera wiggling about. Just up in behind there, I don't even know if I can get in to see it. Get in behind there. No, can't see it from there, sorry. So, shine the light under there. There is a bolt just around the back side of this piece. Obviously you've got the front plate here, and then on this front plate there's a bolt that goes through. You'll see when it comes off, and it goes through the frame hole to another piece that is on the back here, and it comes out the other side, and there's a nut on there which we need to remove. So first of all we'll remove this nut here. Okay, so this bolt that's behind there is really difficult to get to. So what I'm actually using just to make it easier is a ratchet spanner. So the inside of it moves. You've probably all seen them before. So I'm going to put that on the back of the nut there. And with one finger you can just about hold that on and back that off. And it is a 17mm, this spanner. Once you get it a certain way, it should be easy enough to get off by fingers. No, not yet. Let's get it back on. It's a bit of a silly design this, it's so hard to get to. Should be enough now. There we go, she's coming. You see it's moving now, look. I can't quite get my hand up in there. There we go, I've got it. Let's get that off. There is a washer on the back of here as well. Just be careful you don't lose that. Literally just spinning that with my thumb because there's no room in there whatsoever.
This is really awkward.
Oh, there it goes. I got it. I caught it. As by the stroke of luck, I fell into my hand. Right, and I've just managed to grab look, the bolt and the washer that was on the back. So now, if I take this off, you can see that that was on there. There we go. That was on there like that, and that went through there. If I just show you here, went through there. Just get the light, Lawrence. It just goes through that hole there, and then that is connected to the bar, which obviously runs along here. So that's that bit off. Now the only thing left holding this bar on this side are the 2 bolts that are down the bottom here, and that is it. And I think they're going to be a H6. So I'll go and grab that and we'll remove those. Right, okay, so it's not actually a H6, it's actually a H5. So there we go, just back that one out. Get on that one. Nice and steady. Don't want to strip these out. If you strip these out, I imagine they're a bugger to get off. So I'll go ahead and back those right out. Okay, so if you have a look down here, I've removed one of the bolts, which is that one there, which was in there. I've taken that one out. So just got to back this one out. Now you're going to need someone to hold the bars at this point, so my brother kindly is holding the bars at the top, because at this point now, this is the last bolt holding this in, and there's a possibility that it can drop down and scratch or damage something like the paintwork, so just make sure there's somebody there holding that. So I'm going to back this one out. It's coming. Do it by hand. Right, so that is now off. We're actually removing the bars. The bars are now off. Okay, so we remove these bolts. The bars are now off. Obviously these are the bolts that came out, and these bolts are actually part of the heat crash bar kit that come with it, and they're a little bit longer than the originals. These are the originals that were on the bike we had to remove, and that's just to allow for the space of the actual bars that were sitting on here. So what we're going to do, these are 12mm, so I'm just going to replace this section now. Put these ones back in. We'll obviously have to clean all this up at some point because it's filthy behind there. So put that one back in. Like I said, these are a 12mm. Let's get those back in. Start them threads off. Get those tightened down. And we've got our 12mm ratchet. Tighten that down. That's one. There we go, bit in pretty quick. Let's tighten that off. And that's 2. Okay, so the last thing to do now is to replace the belly plate on this bike. Okay, now we've got the actual bars off. We've put these bolts back in, the original ones, and we've kept the ones that come with the heat crash bars to go on my bike. So now we need to replace these bolts. If you come in a bit closer, you'll be able to see a bit better. So we've got a thinner one and we've got a thicker one. I've got them the wrong way around. So the thicker one goes in at the top here. So that's got to go in there, and then the thinner one goes in through the bottom there. We've got to thread this screw. What size was that? Too big. Okay, so I'm just going to tighten the bottom one, which is a 12mm. So that is pretty tight on there now. And then the top one, we'll have to find out what size that is. It's slightly bigger. I think that's probably a 13 or a 14. Let me just have a look. Right, I think it's a 14. Okay, so this top one is a 14mm. So you're going to need a 14mm ratchet with an extension bar. And you're going to need a 14mm spanner that side, your side that you're looking at now.
just to tighten that one back down. So just tighten that down, and that's that back on. And then all that leaves us left to do now is to put the belly plate back on. Right, so the last thing to put back on, and then all the bikes back together, is the belly plate. Do you want to clean this up before we do it? No, we're going to put it back on like that. That's alright. The bike's on PCB and it's going back to the shop, so they can have it back like that. Right, so we're going to, if you come down close, this bit here, obviously I don't know if you remember the little peg underneath there. If you get right under, I'll be able to point to it. Right, so the little peg is there, just where my finger is. Get the light on it. That peg there. So we need to get this. I've got to lay on the floor. We need to get this located back onto there. It's a bit of a wiggle. We'll get it. There we go, that actually slides on pretty easy. I was just making it awkward. Right, so if you come back up this side, so we've got that bit back on there now. So we're going to remove the bolt that we left in here. We put that back in so we didn't lose it and so we know where it came from. And then we're going to bring this back up. Make sure your drain off hoses are not in the way. I'm going to bring that back up there, line that back up into and we can start to tighten that one down. But what you don't want to do, you don't want to tighten that all the way down because you need to get the first ones in. So if you come back round to the front here, you'll see that just there I left those in again, so we'll take those out. 1 and 2, and we can offer this back up. This might take a little bit of wiggling around to get it in, but we'll get there. Just got to make sure these line up with the holes. There we go, 1. That lined up pretty well. And then the other one up in here. Right, so that's those in hand tight. Just need to torque them down. Is that the right size? Right, let me just tell you again what size that is. That is a H5 for that one. So let's take that off there. Put the H5 on there. And then we can just go ahead and tighten these back down. That one just butted tight, and then we tighten this one back down. There we go, and just give them, don't want to do these too tight because you don't want to strip them out, so get them to the point where they stop, and then 1/8 of a turn really, just to tighten them off. There we go. Okay, so we've done the 2 bottom ones. Now we need to come back up to the side just below the gear shifter. We just need to tighten this one back down. Like so. Again, to the point where it stops. About 1/8 of a turn should be more than enough to keep that tight. because that's got a little rubber grommet in there which will act as like a locking washer type thing anyway. So there we go. Okay, so that is the belly plate back on, all the bars removed, all the original bolts put back into the bike, and now all I'm left to do is just take it down off the paddock stands. Remove the front one first, always remove the front one first. So if you take the back one off, the bike is just going to fall over. So just basically lift it up, let that wheel drop back down, and gently just remove that paddock stand there like that. Right, now before removing the rear paddock stand, you want to make sure that you've got your kickstand down like that, so that when you take the bike down, it can just fall straight back onto the stand. But if you forget to put the stand down, what will happen is the bike's just going to fall over and you will be crying. So we'll keep that down, and then again at the back of the bike, just lift the paddock stand up, and the bike will just seat itself back down on the wheel. Let the weight of the bike fall to the stand, and then just remove that rear paddock stand. Okay, so that is the end of this video. The install on the bars I've done another video on, so if you just search Bike Budgie unboxing and install of the Africa Twin the Heed crash bars, I've got a video on that which is quite a popular video actually, and you'll be able to see how we're going to put it on the other bike. At the end of this video I will do a quick walk round of the bars back on my bike, so just so you can have a look at them on the tricolour bike. But that's it for now, and I'd like to thank you for coming along for the ride, and I'll see you next time you come along for the ride with Biker Budgie. Right, we're all finished, it's all done. My bike's all back together, his bike's all had the bars took off, it's all been fitted on, so take a look at this. There we go, look at that. It's a bit dark in here, so I apologise about the lighting. Just, oh, you can see it on the video, that's alright. No bags are on there. I've got my new luggage, because I've actually had his luggage as well, because he got his luggage for free with his PCB deal. And his bike's going back in December, next month. And I bought the crash bars off of him and his luggage, so I got a really good deal on it all. And to be fair, I've waited a long time because I knew his bike was going back, and that's why I didn't buy any. So there it is. I'll see you next time you come along for a ride with Biker Budgie. Take care.